So hey world, welcome to my channel and welcome to 28 years later review. This is gonna have spoilers because I'm literally gonna talk about what happens in the movie, okay girl? If you don't want spoilers, go watch the movie and then come back. Like, why would you even watch a review? I don't even get how people do reviews without like, oh, spoiler free review. What's the point then? Like, what are you gonna say in the video? Like, oh, the movie's good. That's the only thing you can say about the movie without having spoilers. Because if you're gonna talk about the movie, then you need to talk about the movie. Like, what the fuck? Anyway, with that out of the way, I feel like I just gotta say I do not know this universe for that long, which is crazy. Because the first introduction that I got to this universe of the 28 franchise was the trailer, the first trailer that was released for the 28 years later for this movie actually, and it's on this channel. You can go watch it. That was the first time I ever saw something about this universe, this movie, whatever. So then I went and watched the two first movies, and I did a review for both of them. So definitely go check it out. And I just gotta say that it is, I feel like it is my favorite about infected. I don't want to say zombies because they're not necessarily zombies, but it's my favorite, like, universe of it. Because for like a lot of reasons. But I feel like the main one is because it's actually horror. You know what I mean? A lot of zombie movies rely on CGI, which make the zombies look too animated. And then other types of media content, like shows like The Walking Dead, they don't make the zombies the villain. The people are the villain. The zombies are like more background. It's like, oh, it's a zombie show, but the zombies aren't the villain. And it's like crazy to me because, you have that potential to do, even if, okay, the zombies are slow, then make a variant. Like, you know what I mean? But they just make such it's just such a waste. And then it's barely horror. What they call horror nowadays, it's graphic violence, I guess. What they call horror is if a zombie is like biting into somebody and they take the intestine out, or if they bite into somebody and you see a lot of blood, that's what they call horror. But that's not what horror is. Horror is actually scaring the audience. It's actually when something is like actually scary, you're scared when you're watching it. It's like, and that's how I felt watching these three movies. And that's the main reason why this is my favorite not only horror movie, but it's my favorite of like infected or zombies. Because it's just so scary. So well done. And I feel like part of what makes it so well done is because it isn't. And what I mean by this is because, like, obviously I saw a lot of interviews and videos about the movies, whatever, and what they all have in common, I guess, is that the budget is like not, it's not like $1 million budget. At least I don't think so. Maybe for this one, the most recent is, but they spend a lot of money recently on movies, so yeah. But yeah, a lot of parts of the movie supposedly were shot in the iPhone. The first movie was shot in like a digital camera, whatever the fuck, and like, you know what I mean? It was just, it feels like it has a budget because it definitely doesn't feel lower quality, but at the same time it doesn't feel like an Avengers movie. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel like they had millions to spend. You know what I mean? But it's not a bad thing. I that's a good thing because they put the good money that they had to good use. And that's what I fucking love. Because even the zombies, they're not, or the infected, they're not anything like out of this world. It's not like The Walking Dead with like it's crazy makeup. No. But the way they made it, especially on this one, this movie had a lot of different shots for the kills too. Because when they hit the arrows in the zombies, like they always did like that. Like the camera kind of would do this, like, and then it would switch to the other side, and you kind of see the arrow going into the infected, and like you see the blood, and it's like it kind of does that, like that switch. I don't know what the fuck that was, but that was so cool. The way the movie was so dark, and at first I was like, bitch, I can't see anything, but then I was like, that makes sense because they don't have lights, they don't have anything to illuminate. And I guess a lot of people do complain about movies being so dark, but this one is where it makes sense to be dark because it helps with it being scary because you can't see anything, bitch. But also it makes sense because they don't have lights. They're like in the island, far away from the rest of the world with the infected. You don't have lights. And then like what in that the scene where it was like really really dark was the when they were running to like the village and they were going through the sea, you know what I mean? And they were running basically through the ocean and the alpha was running towards them. And when they're getting to the gate, like they turn on that light, and because it was so dark when they did turn on that light, it was so bright. So it was like so dark but then so bright. You know what I mean? And I was like, but that's real. Like the light wouldn't be like balanced. It wouldn't be edited in any way. It wouldn't be that's how it would be. It would be so dark because it was kind of like we were in there with them. Bitch, I was scared. The way the alpha was running, he was like the Terminator. I was like, what the fuck is this? And the alpha with the big dick just hanging, I was like, every time they showed the dick, I was like, are you serious? It was kind of funny. I was like, bitch. No wonder he got the other infected pregnant. You know what I mean? Like, and speaking of that, bitch, when Isla put her hands on the infected and then she put the hands back to hold it so that she, when she was having the contractions, girl, that was crazy. That was a crazy scene. And the baby being like not infected, yeah, because of the placenta. Wow. And I was like, that the baby is probably gonna be immune, and that's how they're probably gonna find the cure. Because I also saw they already recorded a second movie to this, like a continuation, and it's gonna be called like 28 years later, Temple of Bones, I think, something like that. So yeah, and they wanted to do even another one to like finish off the whole universe. I hope they do all of those. I'm so glad I bought the ticket. Girl, I don't know how much money it goes to them, but I hope I was able to support in any way them making more movies. That girl, oh girl, that was so good. It was so good. The movie is so good. I love Isla. Like, I love her so much. I cried when she died. I did. Because it was just so crazy. Like when they said it was cancer, I was like, yeah, there's not going to be a cure, right? And it's probably like too advanced. And then because we saw the process of how the doctor was making the skulls, like, he would put the head on the incinerator thingy and he would just peel off the skin. Like they actually showed him peeling off the skin. I was like, oh. And then, oh my God. And then when they put like the drugs on Spike, and I love that his name was Spike, girl. Because this year was the first time I saw Buffy. And if you saw Buffy, there's a character named Spike. I feel like I was right there on Buffy again. And they said Spike so many times. They were like, Spike, Spikey, Spike. And they were saying like, good lad, good lad. I was like... And this also has to be the first little kid that it doesn't annoy me in a movie. Because usually the little kids always annoy me. This, oh my God, he was so precious. Little boy, if you ever watch this by any chance, you are very good. You were very good in the movie. You acted really good. Let me just say that to you. And I love that he also didn't went back to the village after at the end of the movie, because he left the baby there, but he didn't went back. He went back to the island. I was like, yes, come on, let's go. Okay, what else I can say? The character of Aaron, I kind of saw the signs that he was gonna be like abusive. Bitch, I knew it. because the way he was like complimenting Spike and he was saying, "Oh, good lad." He was always saying, "Good lad, good lad. Oh, you were good." And at first I thought, "Oh my god, that's so cute. He's such a good dad." But then as the movie went on, I'm like, "Okay, this is it feels like too much." You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that you can be too nice. Of course you can be nice, but like if you are like too nice, it is a little bit sus. I was like, and so then when he slapped him and then he punched the wall, I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is literally like the abusive dad stereotype." I was like, yeah, I knew it. Fucking knew it. So, and then when he ran with Isla to the main island, I was like, Spike, Spike. I never, oh my God, that this has to be the best little kid in any movie or show. Like, oh my, he was so good. He was so good. And then this, again, the scene was so sad. Like, them putting the drugs in Spike and he was just holding the little baby, but he was like calm because they put the drugs. And then the way she was like saying goodbye, and then and then he killed her, and then him chosen like the best spot, and he literally climbed over the tower to put her above, and then he like put the skull towards the sunset. And the shot, just like the camera just going back and him at the top of the thing with the skull kind of like this looking at the sunset, that has to be the best shot in any movie ever. That was so beautiful, but it's so sad, but it was so beautiful. I was like, I don't want her to die because I really liked Island. I really did. But yeah, there was no way you could have. Yeah, there's no way, girl. And the way they were killing, the way the alpha was killing, he would just rip the head off and you could see like the spine coming with the head. I was like, what the fuck? That was so cool. But they did it very good. They didn't do the violence in the movie just to have the violence, just so they can call it horror. The way they did it was scary. The way they did it, it makes sense because he was the alpha, you know what I mean? It had the violence, but it was also scary. It wasn't just violence just to be violence. It was scary. It was well done. It was very good. When it had those shots and like everything was dark, but it was like that red light and they were showing the zombies or like the infected. I really liked those shots. The way they were kind of flashing back into, I guess, those old movies of, like those soldiers with the bow and arrow to like, you know, because that was what the kids were learning because they had to fight the infected. So it was kind of like the same thing. And so the way it went back and forth. Obviously, a lot of the sounds in the movie were really loud, bitch. It scared me so many times. So many times. I had jumped so many times. I didn't scream anytime though, but I really jumped. Oh my God. It was so... Again, it was so well done. Every part of this movie was so good. So well done. Bitch. And it was so sad too. And like after the like after Isla died, and then calling the baby Isla, I was like, it has to be the baby's name. It has to be Isla. And then that's what he said on the letter. I was like, yes. But yeah, beginning to end, it was just really, really good, really solid, really well done. I cannot stress this enough how good it was. And it just, again, I don't know this franchise for too long, but it was a great continuation from the other two movies. I would also go as far as say that this might have been my favorite of the three. I really liked the first one. The first one really introduced. Yeah. The first one is really good. But I don't know. In a way, the first one kind of feels like a generic movie. You know what I mean? And they did a little bit at the end with the people being the villain too. Well, like when Jimmy and Selena and like the little girl at the house, like with the soldiers. Yeah, and then they had to fight the soldiers. I was like, yeah, we already had to fight the infected. And then it felt like more of a generic infected movie. But it's still an amazing movie. It's still an amazing movie. But it feels a little bit more generic. And then the second one, it feels like I still love it too, but and I'm saying this like I'm comparing the three because obviously as their own movies, I love all three. But yeah, but then the second one just feels like the army, you know, those army movies. Well, you can literally do army for anything. Like if aliens come to invade, like alien movies, you have the army. If there's like a problem in the city, they have the army. So it just felt like an army movie, but like with the infected. That's what it kind of felt like. This one was actually, I feel like this one was actually the true it showed the true nature, the true movie, the true, I don't know how to explain it, but this one felt like the true, it felt like a true window to that world. You know what I mean? It's like it was Spike and Isla, and then you have to fight the infected, right? And then you have the different types of infected. I love that they did that, the different types. And then you, by having the different types, not only do you have to fight them, but you can utilize those different types of infected. Like when they were asleep and the fat one came in, and they said in the beginning, like they might be slow, but they're so dangerous. And he almost killed Spike because they were asleep. And you know why? Because he was slow. So you couldn't see him coming or hear him coming. And so not only did they give us that knowledge and they killed some in the beginning, but then they brought it back to show how dangerous they really could be. And girl, but yeah, this just really showed, and even the craziness of her just having that disease in this world, and then killing her, and then you have her skull, and then the scene with Eric where they were where he picks up the iPhone, and I was scared that they would do it in a cringe way, but it was actually so funny. And Spike being like, "Oh, what's wrong with the girl's face?" I was like, Spike, my boy. It was so funny. He was like, "Oh, one of the people in the villages has the same. She's like, she's allergic to something, and so her lips get really swollen." It was so funny, so funny. This movie was perfect beginning to end. I cannot wait to see the continuation to this one, and I hope they get to make the third one. Ugh. I wish I could be a part of it. I really wish, but again, like the director said they already filmed the second one. They only have to do the third one. So, you know what? If anybody related to that movie sees this review, before you start doing anything for the third movie, bitch, let me know. Give me a call. I want to be, I want to be an infected. I don't care. I don't care. Even if it's nothing else, let me be an infected. You know what I mean? Like somebody's doing a face call to Portugal. You know that's where I'm from. Somebody's doing a face call to Portugal, and I'm an infected that crawls behind the person that's on the phone, and I kill the person that's on the phone, and then the phone call ends, because that way I don't have to leave the country. But girl, I would go anywhere if they need. I would go, bitch, I would go. I'm going. If anybody sees this, send me an email, give me a call. I would love to be a part of it. Ooh, I love this franchise so much. It was really good. And yeah, this might be my favorite of the three. And also, I feel like because they said that obviously they already made the continuation to this one, the story didn't feel rushed, because I was waiting to see if the father, like Aaron's character, I forgot his name. I don't even know. But I was waiting to see if he was gonna go after Isla and Spike, but he never did. I was like, when are they gonna show the scene where he realizes that they left? And they never did. And I was like, so. But I wasn't mad about it. I was like, I'm glad because I just know he was just gonna be annoying. And then that's why I'm also glad that Spike didn't just went back to the village. You know what I mean? Like he left the baby, which I understand. Um I'm scared for that baby, but I understand. But I'm glad he didn't went back. But all that time nobody noticed the two of them were missing. I was like, what's going on? But yeah, it didn't feel rushed. And then at the end, like obviously like he ran into the ocean. But yeah, but we didn't see him like necessarily go after Spike. Obviously because he couldn't go through the ocean because the tide was high. But yeah, it did not feel rushed at all. They really hit every mark, but it wasn't too slow or it wasn't too rushed. It was a perfect it was a perfect telled story. Telled, is that a word? It was perfectly it was just perfectly. It was just perfect. Yeah, everything hit where it was supposed to. It was just beautiful. But the moment where Isla dies, it was just, that was the most beautiful thing ever. Also, just the name Isla is just so pretty. Oh, I don't know. It was just too good. So yeah, if anybody sees this, I want to be a part of the third one. If not, I don't even care. I will be in the theater watching. Girl, I'll be there. And I will do a review when those movies come out. I don't know. I don't know if they have a plan to release it already like next year. I hope so. But yeah, I will be here. Definitely let me know what you thought of it. If you want to see my reaction to both trailers for 28 Days Years Later, definitely go check it out. And also the two reviews for the two first movies, 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. Definitely go watch everything. Let me know what you thought of the movies, what you think of this franchise. Let me know everything in the comments. Yeah, I guess I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.